I'm just going to flip this bit back to the start and go, this is an advanced copy. Sorry, I should have said that earlier. And yeah, if you've pre-ordered this on the P500, you should get your copy in Q4. Kia ora koutou, and welcome to this unboxing video on 3-minute board games. Something I don't think I've ever done before, and I probably won't do them too often either. This is a very special occasion, though. This is my advanced copy of my game, Red Dust Rebellion, or I'm assuming that's what's in the box. I haven't opened this yet. This is literally going to be my first take opening the box. It arrived about 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago. I had to get Anne back from kindy and then set up some cameras. And I've kind of been shaking nervously since. I don't know if many people are aware of this, but I actually started designing Red Dust Rebellion and sent the sort of draft concept of it to Volko at GMT before I started 3-minute board games. So it was back in 2017. So the first iteration of this game came into being in 2017. It's now 2024, and we've had, initially they said it was going to take at least 3 years for them to even look at it because they had so many other games in the coin pipe, and that was cool. Then we had COVID come along, and that pushed everything back a couple of years. Anne turned up in my life, which complicated things, and but eventually we got there. And they're using old school styrofoam pallets. That's disappointing. Oh my goodness, it's a bigger box than I was kind of expecting. So we'll just get rid of that, and we'll bring out the Red Dust Rebellion box, and I'll just have a... Oh, it's chunky. It feels about the same weight as Fire in the Lake or a good coin game. And there's my name on the cover. Oh, geez. I don't know if I'm going to make it through this video without being a complete wreck. This is... I don't know if there's anything quite like seeing your name in lights for the first time. Seeing your name on a game that looks done. That's not just a figment of your imagination. It's not just some hopium. It's an actual bona fide game. And let's just take that box lid off to start with, because this box lid is phenomenal. Like the art on the cover is just, it's great. The typeface is great. Everything, I just fucking love it. Just put that to one side, face up, to not scratch it. And we'll start off with the rule book. I'm going to take some still photos and put them up in front of everyone. But the rule book was something I really pushed for a different approach. And it's remarkable how similar the rule book looks to my original thing I mapped out in Word some time ago. I mean, it's been modified and worked on by a lot of other people to make it better, but the core idea was in there. Like, there's all these little triangles. So all the way through the rule book, there's these little triangles to point you to the right sections for rules for your faction. So it's a blue faction triangle. Then you go, that's a rule if you're playing the blue faction. So Mars, provisional government, you'll go straight to those bits to find your rule books. It looks really pretty. I'm just going to pop that there. Then we have the rules reference booklet, which is one I didn't really have a huge amount of work on myself, because a lot of this is the example of play and the bot rules, and a lot of that was done by Joe Dewhurst. So yeah, Joe's got his little bits in there. Joe's also got his own coin game coming up soon, the Pure Land. There wouldn't be a good solo mode in this game without Joe, because I hate designing solo modes. Like I like playing solo games, but I don't necessarily like playing coin games solo. So I was really hesitant about writing the non-player rules. So I'm glad Joe got on board, and he did a phenomenal job there. If you're curious, well, it's called Curiosity, is the name of the bot, after a certain little Mars drone, but it's based on the Arjuna card bots from the Gandhi game. Then we have the playbook, which I did a lot of work on this playbook. Each of the events has a little background bit, so it's just like you're playing a historic war game. Aside from here, the history is a fictional one I've made up, and so when you normally pick up a coin game or something like Twilight Struggle, you go through and you look at the cards and you read the background and see how they fit in. We've got all that information in here as well. So it feels like a lived-in world. I wanted this to feel like a war game that was made after the war. So a war game made in 2400, 100 years after the fact. And here's my designer notes as well. And how I built the factions, the scientific assumptions of Red Dust Rebellion, because I wanted this to be a hard sci-fi. There are a whole bunch of sort of core ideas I wanted in there about, how the magnetosphere works on Mars, how plentiful is water, what effects do gravity have. All those assumptions had to be made before we could design a conflict model. Because if we don't know how abundant water is, it's kind of hard to plan a war or plan a civilization on Mars. And there's a lot of background stuff in here, as well as an example of play. And I think in here's the dedications and stuff as well. And so here's the acknowledgements. This game is dedicated to my sister Janine, who passed away just after the work on the game began. She was such a powerful creative force and inspirational person, and I miss her dearly. It's also dedicated to my daughter, and Janine, who inherited her auntie's drive and stubbornness. May she do great things with her life. I knew I was going to get teary with that. Right, pull yourself together. Let's move on. So one thing we changed as well with this game is we've put the player boards off the board. So in a lot of the previous coin games, you'll see that these player boards are sort of printed on the board. We wanted a bit more space. So I'm really glad we got that conceit. Then reference charts. Now, these are looking great. So here's a reference chart for Flashpoint rounds, which is a special sort of half action round. It's where a lot of upkeep happens in the game. So it represents a timer. So a really good example is how quickly the storms move around the planet and how fast supplies get from Earth to Mars, because you can't just instantly transport stuff from Earth to Mars. So we have this flashpoint system to represent the passage of time. And we also have on the back of these sheets the dust storm round, which is the regular victory round you have in a coin game. So every 13 odd card plays, there'll be a sort of mini reset of the game where you check to see if people have scored, and then people get to redeploy and they get extra income and stuff like that. So here's all the stuff for the bots, and this is looking really clean. Really, really clean. I'm really pleased with the design here. And now we have the player aids, which are a coin staple. So you've probably seen these. If you've seen any other coin game, you would have seen these before. This is almost like the rule book on a double fold out. It says all of the actions that each of the factions can take and their special activities. And it's remarkable how big a rule book there is for a game like this, but how much of it you can squeeze onto these handouts. And ideally, once you've played the game a few times, you should be able to play the game with pretty much just these. Then we're on to the player aids. And then we've got the punch sheets. I'll get a couple of photos of those. But that's the support markers and opposition markers, damage markers. Damage is a big thing in Red Dust Rebellion, because if you fight too intensively in different combat in different areas, you can damage life-giving infrastructure, which leads to population loss, which is pretty grisly stuff. One of the things that was going on when I first wrote this was the Syrian and the Rohingya refugee crises, and that really influenced my thinking on the combat model we used for Red Dust Rebellion, because I was like, if refugee crises are that bad on Earth, where we have available water and oxygen, how much worse would they be on Mars, where you don't have those things? And if someone's driven out into the desert, that's literally a death sentence. So we tried to model that in that people would be quite cautious battling, because no one really wins if the oxygen tanks blow up. And then, oh, here we go into the board itself, and I'm going to get some really good snaps of this after I'm done here. Oh, hopefully the above camera's picking this up, because I'm not going to really hold it up. Oh, glorious. I was worried a little because, you know, Mars is brown. It's already brown, and really brown can look kind of boring. But this doesn't look boring at all. This looks really cool. So again, if you're unfamiliar with the design of the game, you got Earth over here, transit area to Phobos, and then from there, you've got these 3 different domains on Mars, because Mars's landmass is kind of similar to Earth's landmass if you discount the places on Earth that are covered with ocean. So it's a far bigger scale to do a counterinsurgency game on all of Mars than any of the games that have featured in the series. So I decided to zoom in on 3 different areas: Tharsis Montes, the Hellas Planitia, and Arabia Terra. And so these areas are separated by massive expanses, which is represented by the wilderness over here. Everything just looks really good. It's gonna be phenomenal. All right, here we go. We've got the bot cards here. So I'll just cut these open. Oop. Very carefully. And here we go. We've got different bots for the different factions. The nice color coding there. So that's the AI deck if you want bot players. Into the actual tokens proper. And we went with screen printing in the end. So sort of silk screen printing on them. And they look really nice. I'll get some close-up photos in a bit. There's a bunch of cubes. But the red for red dust is also a very terracotta deep red, so it's pretty easy to contrast between the orange for the reclaimers, which is something initially I was a little bit worried that the 2 would look quite alike. And there's also symbols on these active sides, so hopefully, I think we've done some checks on this, they should be colorblind proof. At least that's what we're hoping, or at least colorblind resistant. And then we've got the 3 card decks and the inside of the box. So I'll start off with the campaign cards. So Red Dust has a special ability that allows them to go on campaigns, a special activity. And campaigns are ongoing bonuses that last until the next Dust Storm round. And so each of these are sort of big, strong, game-changing actions. So, for example, where's a good one? Yeah, a General Strike card. So this is the General Strike card. All workers on Mars are down tools. All MG operations in space without support cost 1 additional MG resource. Now that might not sound like much, but every time MG has to do an action, they have to pay that little bit more until the next Dust Storm phase. So a lot of fun to be had with Red Dust and their operations. Not quite as much fun as this set of cards here, which is the Reclaimer asset cards. So the Reclaimers don't use the normal activation system in a traditional coin game. They have a card management system. So the cards represent their assets, their capabilities, and their ability to act. So on any given card, the Red Dust player can just jump in and down a bunch of cards and go, actually, I'm going first. If I'm eligible, I'm gonna jump the line and I'm taking that action. And then I'm gonna play you know, I'm going to play an event from my own hand. I'm going to do a capability, or I'm going to do actions. I wanted them to be unpredictable. I wanted the Reclaimers to sort of just pop up out of the desert, just completely unexpected, and do enough left field stuff that you had a far harder time just calculating for them or counting for them. They're a bit of a wild card faction. I'm really curious to see what effects they have on the rest of the coin series going forward, if anyone is going to pick up the sort of archetype I've created here with the Reclaimers and use them, because that would be quite fun. And finally, we've got the event deck. And unboxing that. And the cards here are just, it's gorgeous. I mean, I'll put up a bunch of pictures of these. God, even looks really good. The iconography is great. On the cards, you'll see the activation things. You'll notice that the Reclaimers are always last on the card, and that's because they can buy their way up, as I mentioned. The little lightning bolt on the left of the row, that's the flashpoint tracker, and you advance on the flashpoint track here. When it reaches the end, you go for a flashpoint mini round. These look really cool. Yeah, this is the game. The final version you will be getting will be coming out in I believe Q4. This is an advanced copy. I probably should have said that at the start. So I'm just gonna flip this bit back to the start and go, this is an advanced copy. Sorry, I should have said that earlier. And yeah, if you've pre-ordered this on the P500, you should get your copy in Q4. Fingers crossed. Everything looks great. It looks printed well. I'll have a dig through and see if there's any errors that we can pick up, but hopefully there aren't. And yeah, this is Red Dust Rebellion. It's real. It's still on the P500. If you want to have a look at, if you want to pick up the game, that's a really good price, and it won't ever be that price again. It will always be consistently more than that from this point on, because that price was locked in a couple of years ago. So if you do want to get in and get the game at a good price, that's the place to get it. And I will be doing a few more videos on Red Dust Rebellion in the near future. And until then, this has been pretty amazing. I normally run off a script. I didn't have a script today. This is all me blurbling in one take. And yeah, it's real. It's actually real. And I'm really hoping that this game is a forever game for some people out there. That this is a game that people pick up, and it becomes a big part of their collection and a big part of their gaming life. And it's one of those games that they go and play for a decade or 20 years. The people have groups that are still playing Red Dust Rebellion, after I'm gone. Because I'm a big fan of forever games, of games that you want to play over and over again. And I feel like the team and I here, so that's Jason Carr, who was the sort of the producer for the coin line, Adam Blinkersop and Joe Dewhurst, who were the two developers. So Adam got me through the main development of the game, and then Joe took over the solo bots and the last round of finesse testing to sort of get everything, the last bits balanced off. And then of course there's Terry and Marcos, who did the art and the board design, and everyone at GMT, who there's tons of people who work there. I won't name them all. They know who they are. I think this is something special, and I'm really pleased to share it with you. So yeah, if you enjoy this video, stay tuned for more stuff for Red Dust Rebellion. It'll be coming out soon. Until next time, take care, everyone.